Welcome to Etology. My name is Josh, and on this channel, we like to draw characters and events from mythology, lore, and religion. Now, if you're new to the channel, please don't forget to like and subscribe. That would definitely be cool and help me out. And on what is the artist thinking, I kind of go over the thought process and the techniques that I use to draw this, and a lot of the issues. I like to talk about what the problems were and address the things that aren't talked about a lot of the time when you see videos of art. You know, sometimes you see too much of the good stuff and not enough of the bad stuff. And I like the bad stuff of my own art because it helps me grow and become a better artist. So if you like that kind of stuff, definitely stick around and hit that notification button for my next video, because this is all of us artists trying to grow and explore our creativity. But let's begin. Now, Bishamonten is the war god and the good fortune god, and I didn't really know much about him until about a week before I drew this, and that was because I was looking for gods that I would like to draw, and he, being a statue in front of shrines and temples in Japan as this fierce god, I was like, well, why not? Let's give him some more reality and create him to be this human character, god character with this cool design that I like, right? And that's what we did here. We gave him more of this fierce godlike character in a, simple, flat, but dramatic way, because I wanted to keep the Japanese style of old paintings, how their images and their characters are very flat on the paper, but there's still some shading going on to build some depth. Really enjoy that. Now, once I'm done with the 2H pencil drawing, I go onto my Molotov or my Copic multi-liner to do the detailing, but today we're going to go with something different. I want to push those blacks without ink and with graphite, and the Mars Lumograph blacks here are an amazing pencil to draw with. They reach a really dark black, and if you layer them properly, there's a nice smooth texture to it all, and there's not this glassy, hard, lead-like texture on your paper. So I want to definitely play with these and work with them and see what we can produce. Now, do note that the 2H is a harder lead and doesn't rub off as easily as some of these softer 2B, 4B, 6B, 7, 8B pencils, where the lead is very soft. It may reach a very dark black, but it is also going to rub off the moment your hand comes across it, especially if your hand has any oil or anything to it, moisture to it. It will just smear it, and that'll make drawing and erasing and everything a little bit more difficult, more tedious. So wear a glove, put a piece of paper down underneath your hand. There are really cool ways to protect this kind of graphite and lead to spread on the paper without your permission. I started with shading in the blacks in the areas that I definitely know that I wouldn't do any real harm with the shading if I went too far. And then I moved into some of the details, and I try to finish still his upper left portion of his body, or at least the left part of his body, before moving to the right. And now that I got most of it shaded in and I'm building depth with it, I'm going in to add details with the darkest of my pencils, and try to build some more contrast with the staff, but it's kind of hard because I think I should have just left more white in it, but I went shading crazy. Kind of regret the shading on the staff. In the end, it still works out. I really did enjoy the cloth, so you can kind of see that I don't really have the shadows and the wrinkles in the cloth perfect. I kind of made them up. They don't look accurate, and you can tell that it's not very realistic in the way it folds, but it gets the point across that there is this fabric flowing from this character. And that sometimes leads me to my worst feeling, is when you draw something and you work really hard for a drawing, and you get to the point when you zoom out and you look back at it and you realize there's something that looks dumb that you drew, and then you feel really like, oh, I wasted so much time. I should have looked at that and fixed it before. And it really gets you down, and I try to avoid that feeling by kind of stepping back and kind of making sure my drawing is every once in a while in proportion and coming out together. This one I didn't do because I had the weird camera on my side, and yeah, there's some issues there, of course, with that area. I like to shade in small parts of areas with a light coat of the pencil or the shading, and then whenever I realize where the light source is coming from, go in there and push for more darker shading in those areas, so that way I know I'm building more depth to the object and the drawing altogether. The subtlest of shading really does become noticeable when you're finished. This is actually behind his leg, so this will have to be really dark compared to what is in front. And you can see here, another major issue are these little dots. I explained this in my previous video of when I drew this character and his story, but you can see these little parts where the lead and the graphite kind of built on top of the paper, and I have to go in here with this eraser and pull those little heavy little freckles off, and then go in and shade and lightly bring it to an even texture. Tedious, sometimes annoying, but it really makes your drawing look good when you're done with a perfect texture and everything. It's like, it's the difference between, you know, elementary drawing and, you know, high school, you know, a high school drawing kind of thing, or a college student, obviously, where you're going to learn it. But I'm trying to make it a little bit more radical of a, you know, contrast. Definitely helps a lot, and it feels good. You can still get away with not doing it, but when you see someone who presses hard on the pencil and you can see that this shine is on certain areas, it feels very rushed. It feels very kind of, you didn't care for the drawing as much as you cared for just finishing to show, right? I like art because it brings my imagination to paper, but also there's a skill set that is shining through my drawing, and we try to reach that highest skill set we can have at all times, because we like to be the best version of ourselves. And you know, this is a hard concept to do, especially for me as an artist, because when I was growing up, I just wanted to pump out drawings of Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers and all this. Well, one of the biggest things to learn as an artist is patience, and this is a drawing of patience. You know, I haven't done it in a while, but at the end it came out looking quite nice. And Bishamonten is pretty cool. Now, a little bit of issues there, sure, but a lot of fun and some good fortune. Hey, I hope you liked this video. If you did, like, subscribe, and I'll check you guys next time. And if you're creative, go create.